A very good afternoon to you wherever you are, and welcome to the holiday edition of your Marketplace. I am Sandra Estinam Up, and coming up this afternoon we have an exclusive interview. And the National Information Technology Agency, NITA, is worried government agencies are sinking millions into setting up their own data centers when it has the capacity to host them. Odilia Ntiamwa interviewed the Acting Director General, Richard Ochilfosu.
I want to find out, why is it taking this over 400 MMDAs time to onboard?
It's a process. I mean, remember when we started this, we were in the thick of the lockdown, right? And they need to provide certain information to us in order for us to be able to onboard them, such as their domain, their user list, employee list, so that we can create emails for them and do all the good stuff that we need to do for them.
Okay,
and
so basically what does it mean to get all this 800 MMDAs onto the e-government platform?
Beautiful. It's a good question. So what that means is that we now have government collaborating, right? So one MD, at least there's an email for them. Remember, times past we didn't have government officials even using proper government email addresses, right? They were using Yahoo and Gmail. So that is stopping with this implementation. So everybody will have a proper .gov.gh email address, and it means that one agency can collaborate with the other, because there's email, there's the Office Productivity Suite, there's Teams, Microsoft Teams, so that they can do video conferencing and collaborate and communicate with each other. So I think it's the place to be, really.
How do you connect this to the e-application and the fact that not all the ministries are really cooperating? Some are setting up their own things, some agencies are doing their own things, and then you seem to always sometimes be at the back and not at the forefront of getting this done.
I mean, remember, we are the regulator for the ICT space. In terms of this solution that we've put out there, government is saying that this is the approved solution, so everybody is moving on board. Then you also have the Ghana.gov, the e-portal, for example, which we are onboarding government institutions or agencies, in phases, because this is the portal that Ghanaians or citizens can actually go and discover government services and pay for it, right? So that's also ongoing, and I mean, gradually we are letting people know that government means business. Government wants to really use technology in the proper way, and then these are our time to implement these solutions for government agencies.
So on this platform, where people or private people can go on to access government business, the last time we spoke, there were issues about people not really accessing these platforms. They simply either are not educated about them, or there's something just missing. What's the missing link?
So we are currently in a soft launch phase. We haven't made too much noise about it, because we are now onboarding some of the critical agencies on the platform.
Which agencies are on now?
GRA is on, and a lot more. But I mean, we are looking at the agencies that bring in revenue, or the high revenue targets, if you like. I think we have about 10 or so to go in phase 1. So the idea is pilot it quietly for some time, make sure everything is working, we've ironed out all the kinks. Then there'll be a launch at the presidency that this solution is now outdoored. Citizens can go and discover, because often at times you are looking for some stuff and you don't even know where to go. So this is a good place, a focal point for everybody to go, search for whatever they are looking for. If you find it, FDA, I think, is even on the first phase. So if you are importing pharmaceutical drugs and you have to complete some forms and all that, you can do it online, pay the fees, and conveniently.
Once you go onto the platform, it's just forms you fill. Is there a way you can make also payments online?
You can. So as I said before, Ghana.gov is about discovery of services, government services, consumption of it or consuming it, and then paying for it. So you can use all mediums of payment, mobile money, your credit card. You can go to the bank and pay with the reference number that's been generated. So if you want to walk into a bank and make that payment via cash, you can also do so. So yes, so you can pay for it.
Looks like you have set out to do lots of beautiful things, but it all comes with cash, isn't it? The MMDAs owe you to the tune of 13 whopping million Ghana cedis. Tell us about this debt.
Yes. So, I mean, it's like the proverbial story. I mean, ECG went through something similar. I mean, once MDAs, they all think that we are all serving the same government. Our father is the government. Let me consume and not pay for it. I mean, ECG went through this in some times past. So, we pay for service in order to offer service to the MDAs. Sometimes we do not get our monies. Our minister, Honorable Esla, has been on this campaign for some time, and we are saying that, look, if you don't pay us, we will not have the money to be able to provide the service and the maintenance that is required. So I've actually put in place a process where I'm working with Finance, Ministry of Finance, to say that during the 2021 budgeting process, if an MDA owes us money, we want to bring it up so that either it's deducted from source or there will be an arrangement for us to be paid so that we can also provide an efficient service for them.
How's this hurting NITA, the 13 million?
Tremendously, because we also owe providers, and we take services from MainOne, we take services from Vodafone, and the likes. I mean,
you owe them money?
These are services. Yes.
You owe them as well?
Yeah,
you owe them as much as how much?
I can't remember the number offhand, but it's a lot. You buy service and you deliver the service, so it's just the normal business where you need to pay for the service. So on the other end of the value chain, they also have to pay you so that you can deal with these things.
You want to take a sip?
Sure.
You can grab some tea. So once they haven't paid this 13 million, how much of a dent have they made in your pockets, for which is affecting other MMDAs?
I mean, as usual, so that means that you cannot extend, if you don't have the money, you cannot extend the service, right, to others. So it has affected us because we can't pay our debts, and therefore service is affected. But I'm hoping and praying that the relationship I've now developed with the Ministry of Finance will get our monies at source. I think it's just only fair that you consume a service, you must pay for it.
Well, so the electronic data center, so for example, you guys have a data center, the National Data Center. The Electoral Commission, for example, has its own data center. It's big enough to house everybody, isn't it? Why are people setting up different data centers?
It's one of the things that I think we need to work on and get government agencies to know that NITA boasts a Tier 3 national data center. That is not a small feat, because nowadays you're talking about Tier 5, but the top of the standard right now is Tier 4, And a tier 4 data center means that you have different power sources coming into the data center.
Is that the kind that the EC would need, for example? Or with the kind of work they do, they can do with a tier 3?
I mean, I think they can do with tier 3. Tier 3 is not shabby. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? So you have such, government has invested in such facility, right? And different agencies are also doing their own thing. A couple of things. It could also boil down to back in the days, connectivity, our service level wasn't that great, so they felt that they want to do their own thing. But we are pushing. We are saying that instead of spending money to do a data center of your own, that money should be invested in the national data center. And let's right whatever wrongs and correct whatever problems that we have, so that we can have them come here as tenants. And they can host, they can co-locate, they can do whatever they need to do here. It's a very impressive site. I mean, I've seen some data centers in my life in the UK, in the US. This is a fantastic data center, and we have capacity. So, I mean, one of the things that we are doing in terms of policies, standardization and all that, we are going to say that, look, if you are building a data center, we need to even if you are an MDA, we need to even understand that. And if we feel that we need to step in and say that, look, the agency shouldn't spend the money on a new data center and they can come and co-locate here.
It's a waste of money, isn't it?
I think the money can be utilized in a better way. Let's improve what we have. Government has already invested in this infrastructure, right? In the past, because maintenance was an issue, it could be for a variety of reasons, non-payment and the likes, we were not maintaining things well. But we have a private partner with us, Smart Infraco, that's working with us to actually upgrade it so that we can commercialize some of the services as well.
Okay, let's catch our breath. We can go sit at the proper place because this is the food area. And then thank you, thank you. Oh, yeah. I want to find out from you, one of the biggest challenges that we've had as a country, especially in these COVID times, has always been revenue. Many people are saying that it's time to really mop up every little thing that is around. And one of the sectors that has really benefited in these times have been the ICT sector. Is it possible? Can we ever mop revenue from there in terms of taxing?
Why not? I mean,
what are you doing about that?
I mean, it's you know, it's something that I actually personally, before coming into this role, I was advising the Minister for Finance on ICT matters. It was some of the things that we looked at for GRA. Okay, so you know, electronic transactions, you know, you can actually tax that. I mean, in other jurisdictions, they are doing that. So if you buy something online, right, there'll be a component, an electronic tax that will come to government as a form of revenue. So those are, it doesn't come under me directly. It's a GRE effort, but we are here to assist them.
So what are you doing to fast track this?
So what we are saying is that any company that plays in the ICT space, as the regulator, we want to register them, right? Also, individuals who are in this space, whether it's at a graduate level, practitioner, or professional, we want to also register you, right? The idea here is that we want to be able to ensure that people are really qualified and they know what they are doing, okay? We've had other issues where we've had professionals who are not really true ICT professionals masquerading as professionals. So we want to certify IT professionals, and also certify the companies. And therefore, if you don't do these things, if you are ever applying for a government contract, it will be one of the requirements that PPA will look for.
How soon is this going to happen?
We are working on it right now. I'm very confident that we'll get it out very soon. We've got the standards ready. We've got the portal where people can register and do the police checks and all the necessary checks. So we're working on it. It's in motion.
Okay. Still staying on COVID, still staying on issues relating to revenue. The finance minister just last week spoke about the fact that you're developing the technology to really use existing fiber to expand, especially to rural communities, especially using the ECG fiber, for example, to get this done. So give us an enlightenment on that.
So, I mean, I think it was, the minister said two things, the finance minister said two things that kind of really touches on what we do. Obviously, connectivity for us is paramount to what we are doing. And I mean, for all government initiatives, if you cannot connect to them, there's an issue, right? So, for us, in terms of meter, we are also saying that, government has made a good first step in terms of this ECG agenda. But there are other agencies with fiber assets. And the thinking here is that, why don't we consolidate all these others? So ECG is one. I hear Ghana Gas Pipe also has some fiber assets. Why don't we consolidate all that? And the idea is overlay that on the map of Ghana and you see the coverage, right? So that we know that, okay, meters connectivity or meters link is here. Maybe we can piggyback as redundancy or for redundant service, or maybe an ECG link here. I think it's a fantastic idea what the minister announced, the finance minister announced. Broadband over power lines is not new. It's not a new technology. It exists in other jurisdictions. So if that's what we are doing, that will get us to the remotest of places, because most people have electricity coming to their home. And if that's what we are doing, that's fantastic. And I think the government has done fantastically well for pushing that. We are saying that this is just a first step. We should push to consolidate all other fiber assets that the government has.
Eastern Corridor.
Yes.
Yes.
So Eastern Corridor is one of our main, if you like, connectivity, if I like to call it. It's our main pipe, and we are working on it. I mean, we're doing rectifications on it.
Write that down. What does that mean?
So fiber, unlike copper, which is cable, fiber is glass, right? So you can do it in a couple of ways. You can either bury it, or you can put it overhead, right? And most of the, depending on the terrain and what you're doing, most times we bury it, okay? And we've had issues with farmers clearing their field and burning the bushes, and it affecting the fiber cables, right? So once that happens, we cannot provide connectivity. I think that, I mean, at NITA, we are looking to say that, look, these fiber cuts, and apart from the farmers doing that, you go to a construction site, or you just have to drive down the road and you see people digging, right? Why can we not consolidate, and we are working on this, why can we not consolidate this so that if we put a duct, everybody can put their pipes through? Just around the corner from us, Togo, you cannot just go and dig any place, right? So I think we should make this a criminal offense when people cut fibers, right? It's not good. The MTNs of this world is complaining about it, Vodafone is complaining about it, because the maintenance cost of repairing these fiber is astronomical. And we can use that money wisely in obviously expanding the network so that everybody is connected. So these are some of the things that we are looking to push to do here. Fiber cut should now be elevated as a national security issue. It's gone on for too long.
COVID and strategy, because I always believe in strategy, because if you don't know how to really put yourself together in the next 5 years, others have won because of strategy. What is the strategy for us as a country when it comes to issues relating to internet?
Okay. So,
putting at the back of our minds COVID and looking forward.
Yeah. So definitely connectivity. I think when we spoke last time on the internet conference, it came out that to be able to cover the country is really what we need to do. And that's why I think the finance minister...
How much of the country is covered now?
I mean, I mean, from NITA perspective, we cover all the way from here to the north. Sometimes just on the Burkina Faso border. We also have a project that is sponsored by World Bank that is going through a tender process to be able to have broadband connected to all the regional capitals, right? So that from there you can then do the last mile to an MDA or an institution or an agency for them to enjoy connectivity. So all that is in progress, but I think we haven't covered the country enough. And you cannot say you've covered the country when you don't have redundancy. So what happens when the primary link
goes down?
Right? In order to provide a decent service, you know, if I bring my machines here to NITA to co-locate,